When we're looking at ABO blood types, blood type O has no actual identifying proteins on the outer surface of the red blood cell. This has nothing to do with O positive or O negative. We'll get to that later. Okay? But blood type O is the oldest of the blood types, and it has no identifying proteins. The next blood type to arrive on the scene, and this is all through evolution, is blood type A. So when you have blood type A, which is the next oldest blood type, and the second most common blood type, okay, we're talking almost 90% of the global population is either A or O of some form. Okay? These blood type A differs from blood type O in that blood type A has a surface protein on the surface of its red blood cells. And that is identified as protein A. We usually call this, when we're talking, because remember, you get one blood type allele or one copy of it from your biological mother and one copy from your biological father. So you've got two actual copies of the gene, and we write this out as being individual O from one parent, individual O from the other. I-O, I-O. I for individual, O for the allele they carry. Blood type A is a little bit different because remember we said A is dominant over O. So even if somebody has an O, as long as an A is there, the A will mask the O. So in this way, you could either be IA, you could have gotten an A from both parents, or you could be IA, IO, because A is dominant over O. Okay? Moving on, let's go to B. Blood type B is much less prevalent in society. We're talking not even 10%, I don't think. I think it's something like 8% of the world population has blood type B. AB, okay, we've done A. B, it behaves the exact same way in that blood type B will have B proteins only on the surface. And in a way similar to blood type A, there's two ways to write it. A person could be AB or IB, or IB, IO. Now the O can come first before the B, doesn't really matter. Okay? When somebody is two dominant letters that are the same, so in this case the IA, or the IB, we say that this person is homozygous. Okay, homo means same, zygous has to do with the different alleles that are there. Homozygous means they got two dominant alleles, or they've got two of the same. So if we say that something is homozygous, and in this case we would say that the blood type is homozygous dominant. Homozygous dominant for A. Now, when something, this is only found in blood types A and B, when you are IA, IO, IB, IO, those are not the same. So we say that these guys here are also known when you have two different letters, but one of them is dominant and the other one is recessive. We say that you are heterozygous. Okay? Heterozygous. And that means that you will have one dominant letter and one recessive. Okay? So, the last blood group, which is the least common out there, and that is blood group AB. And again, this is where somebody with an A allele and somebody with a B allele basically had a child, and that child got a dominant allele, a different dominant allele from both parents, from each parent. Nobody wins the fight here, so these are nice and busy. Okay, on their surface, they're going to have A and B proteins. Not one more than the other. Okay, so that their body is going to see both of these proteins and they're going to accept it as normal. This is written as IA, IB. And this is not heterozygous because one of them is not dominant over the other. This is an example of codominance. So if we look at this example, if we're trying to determine blood groups within two people, and we say that the female with blood group IAIO is crossed with male with blood group IBIO, and it's very important to know whether you're IAIA or IAIO, because this changes the actual probability of having different blood groups. All we do here is FOIL it. The first two, we're going to change colors for these. The cross between the first two is going to give you IA, IB. Then we do the outer, okay, in green, and that gives me what? IAIO. Then I'm going to do the inner in a different color. Okay, what does the inner give me? So I like to write the bigger letters before the O, so I'm just going to write IBIO. And then lastly, let's go with this guy. I'm going to do the last ones. And what do I get? IBIO. Or no, IOIO, sorry. IOIO. So if somebody with blood type IAIO is crossed with somebody with blood type IBIO, their offspring has a 1 in 4 chance or a 25% chance of being either blood type AB, blood type A, blood type B, or blood type O. Okay? By simple FOIL method. So if you are given a word problem and you are asked to determine the blood group, this is showing all your work, showing the cross multiplications and what the chances are. So if you had somebody that was, let's say, I don't know, somebody that was crossed IO, crossed with IA, IO. What would be the, probability of having a variety of blood groups here? You would FOIL this. First, last, inner, okay, and there we go, out on the end. So there you'd end up with IAIO, IOIO, IAIO, and IOIO. Which means if you bring it down, these two are the same, and these two are the same, right? So you have a 50% chance of either being type A or type O. One or the other. Does that make sense? Yeah? That is ABO blood typing. It's as simple as that.